Stuart, is that a team performance if ever you've seen one today?
Yeah, Scotty, I think you learn so much about your players in those situations, in those moments. I've just said it. If anybody sort of doubted our togetherness or our kind of unity as a football club, then I think it was fully on display, especially in the spell when you go down to 10 men for so long here, when obviously the pressure's on them to come and get after us. But for us only to face one shot on target, I think is pretty remarkable. And I think that was evident just purely in not that we've not got a top-notch goalkeeper, we do. I think it was the work that was done in front of him. And sometimes where I can be a wee bit different in football, I spoke way back at the start, speaking to yourselves about trying to have a variation to your play. You must be able to adapt to whatever situation's presented in front of you. And today, the latter part of the game was that we had to defend, and sometimes I enjoy that as much as anything else. And I think that we've got a group that sort of thrived on it. It was naming number of those that didn't take a shot to the face, or didn't take some sort of contact inside the box. So again, for us to do that, we have to lose ego. For us to then just think that we want to enjoy the ball, we want to stroll about here and make 1,000 passes. It wasn't that in the second half. It had to be something different, and I think that's the most pleasing aspect for me.
How much character did your team show today?
I think in terms of performances any team I've managed, I think it was right up there. I genuinely do. And again, we don't want to get too carried away. I'm not one for ever getting carried away. You'll testify to that. But I think that the personality that came across on that pitch, speak to players about being quiet and about the football club, but when you cross that white line, understand what your job is, understand when you've got to dig one of your teammates out and help them out when there's an issue presenting itself. There was plenty for us to solve problems on the pitch today, but again, I have such a trust in the group of players, and even the guys that have come in, just a matter of days, they bought into it when they were on the park today. Ollie Shaw coming on at the top end, he understood what we were trying to achieve and what we were trying to do in that spell, and to get that buy-in so early from these guys, as well as the lads that have been here since February, is a really pleasing aspect. It really is.
It seemed there at the end with the celebrations when we got over the line, players, staff, fans all together. Was that your vision of what you wanted Motherwell Football Club to be like when you initially took over?
Absolutely. I hate going back to my playing days or whatever, because it's not relevant, but the bit that is relevant, Scott, is I've always believed to achieve anything, and we've not achieved anything, but even if it's just a short-term goal of winning a game of football, we will never do it as individuals. We'll never do it with massive egos. We'll never do it without a willingness to stick to a game plan. And I think the most pleasing aspect, include yourselves and everybody else round about, it is a good moment for us. It's a brilliant run that we find ourselves on, but just to see that unity from everybody, guys that are on the pitch, guys that are off the park, then it's a pleasing aspect. And I think it's the type of thing that can carry you throughout a season, because you're going to need it. We'll find ourselves in similar spots across the course of the season. That doesn't mean that you need to give up your 3 points. It just means that you need to maybe work a little bit harder for them, and you maybe need to adapt to what's been thrown in front of you. So I was really pleased as well. I probably need to reference it, our play in the first half. I thought we were good in the first half, as much as we didn't enjoy much of the ball second half. I thought in the first half we looked really crisp in our work, and I thought that we looked as if we were a team that was full of confidence when we had the ball. I thought we used it pretty well. I thought we fashioned some not bad chances, but I told them at half time that I wasn't expecting the sending off, but when that comes, you're going to have to suffer. You suffer together, and sometimes I think that mentality of enjoying it's the bit that gets you across the line.
Going into the international break now, 2 weeks to prepare for our next game. Is this a time now to just catch a bit of breath and just assess?
Nah, not really. Again, with a whole host of injuries, Shane Blaney went down yesterday, so we didn't even have him to call upon today, which is another injury added to what we already have. That starts to mount up, and it starts to create a little bit of an issue. So it's as much as possible make sure that we can get these guys as close to being back on the pitch as we possibly can. So utilise that time wisely. There's a lot of guys that have played a lot of minutes in a short space of time, so we need to make sure they recover. And then the flip side of the guys that are sitting on the bench, the boys that are sitting on the bench, we've got another bounce game set up on our pitch on Tuesday, and that is the working aspect of it. We need to make sure that they keep themselves as close to being able to go onto that pitch as absolutely possible, but we'll give them 1 or 2 days. We're not complete lacking in confidence, lacking in consciousness. We're in a situation where we have to make sure we've kind of got 3 groups of players, and we have to make sure that we keep everything as set as we possibly can.
Thanks for your time, Stuart. Well done.
Thank you.